All right, friends, get ready to head to Vancouver, Canada with me for this episode. Emma is going to remind us so many important tidbits about being not only a business owner, but a teeth whitening provider. We're going to chat from reminders of how to schedule brides and grooms properly before the big day. When is the best time to offer services? So, for example, it's not going to be a Wednesday afternoon, so you can have an evening off. A little tip there is that evenings and weekends are going to be your best time for offering services. Really big thing that I note with this episode as well is Emma reminds us something that I really struggled with when I first opened my teeth whitening location. And it was separating yourself from the brand. So Emma did an amazing job right off the hop. She went very brand oriented. She didn't tie herself to the brand very much. As I know, when I started Whitening, I was kind of like fumbling around with, okay, here's the brand, but like I also really put myself forward because I wasn't sure what exactly I was doing. As when I noticed when I hired staff and then when we went mobile, etc., it was a lot harder for our audience and our past clients to transition over to new technicians because the brand was me. Like 2U Whitening was coming to see Rach. So I really found that insight so helpful. And it's such a great reminder. If you have a business right now and you're just starting out, or maybe you're farther along, really think about long term. Are you always going to be the service provider? And if not, start thinking about how you can build that brand without you being the brand. So, friend, let's dive into episode 6 during our season 3 of Whitening Wednesday. You're going to love it. Let's get started. If you are a teeth whitening or tooth gem specialist, this is the podcast for you. My name's Rach, and I am the industry leader of all things teeth entrepreneurship. Together, let's learn from real-life experiences to must-have brands on how to take your business to the next level and leave that 9-to-5. Friend, welcome to Whitening Wednesday, and I'm so glad you are here. Let's build a safe industry together. It's the new year, and I don't know about you, but I feel like I always like to burn everything down and start fresh every new year. Whether that's a good thing or not, who knows? But friend, if you are offering teeth whitening and you're not using the Fern Whitening Supplies line, then this is the perfect time for you to get started. Start the new year with the best results that are safe, effective, and affordable. Check out Fern Whitening Supplies on all major platforms as well as online, and contact them for any questions as you dive into growing your business for 2024. Let's get on with the show. Happy Whitening Wednesday. This is season 3, and today on the show we have Emma from Pearl Boutique Dental Hygiene. Emma is the founder and the owner, and I'm so excited to chat with Emma about how this came about, what it's been like running her own independent business, and then of course, her team and her are doing a ton of whitening, so it's going to be so great to chat about what the experience with whitening has been as well. So Emma, tell us, how did you come about doing the independent route, and why didn't you stay in just general dentistry?
The independent route was kind of always the route I wanted to take. So when I was in dental hygiene school, we had 3 presenters who were independent hygienists. And once I saw them present, I shadowed a couple of them and I thought, that's what I want to do. So
That's so handy. And it's so like convenient when you do get that visualization in front of you to see like, oh, this is possible. So tell us, did you find that Was it hard? Like, what's it like in Vancouver? Like here in Ontario, you had to become self-initiated. And then I don't know if you heard just recently, now in
Yeah.
Ontario, you can just do it. So
Yeah.
what's it like in Vancouver? Kind of what are the stipulations?
When I first started, it was the same thing. So you had to be, it was called the 365-day rule.
Okay.
So the dentist had to see the patient within 365 days of seeing a hygienist.
Really?
Yeah. So you had to be exempt from that rule. Well, you didn't have to be, but then if a patient hadn't seen a dentist, you wouldn't be able to see them. So
Interesting.
yeah, and you could apply for exemption if you had a dental hygiene degree or an undergrad in science. So I had an undergrad in science, so I applied for exemption. Now that rule doesn't exist. And now they have different classifications of hygienists. So they have registered dental hygienists and dental hygiene practitioners. So
Okay.
I've been like grandfathered into the dental hygiene practitioner because of my undergrad and my exemption from 365. And now you have to have a degree in hygiene or in health science to get your dental hygiene practitioner license. And
Okay.
then you can
So
open your own clinic.
Vancouver definitely has additional steps compared to here in Ontario.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So, did you start out as a single provider or did you right off the hop have a team?
No, I started off by myself. So I did everything by myself for a long time until I got pregnant. And I was like, well, I'm not going to be able to do it by myself anymore. So it kickstarted me into starting to hire a team, which is good. So
Yes, sometimes we need that push, right? And did you find that you were already at that point in your business where it's like you definitely could have used a team member, but maybe you felt a little nervous about like taking that responsibility of paying somebody, but
yeah,
it's always such a catch 2022 when you're on that line where it's like, ooh, I have to take that risk and spend that money, but at the same time, it will benefit and make me more money. But it's
yeah,
like that in between. But I bet your pregnancy definitely made that decision for you.
it did. I said to my husband, I was like, I'm just never going to decrease working. If we aren't able to have a baby, I'm just going to work all the time. It's like, I don't know how to step back. So it was a good force to step back. Yeah.
It was like your baby was your first employee, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was good. And so I've had people working there for about maybe 5 or 6 years. And I've had it for 10.
Amazing. And did you move locations? Are you at the original location?
No, we've moved 3 times. So we started out really small and then we moved to the building we're in and then we moved to a slightly bigger suite in the building we're in. So we've stayed in the same building now for the last 8 years.
You
Yeah.
just move through it differently.
Yeah.
That's so fun. Now, this will be really interesting to kind of see. I'm assuming kind of as you've grown your spaces, you've probably been in different parts of the building where maybe you were not direct access or you didn't have frontal view of maybe you didn't have signage. Like right now, are you on a part of the building where you can see directly from the street? Like I feel like I've seen in your socials that like you
I
have a
have
big sign on the building, etc. Has that always been the case or only since your last move?
No, so funny. So my sign is there, but we're up higher in the building. So I can have my sign there. That's some of the units can get advertising on the outside of the building if they want
Mhm.
to. So I did that. So then I still have street view. People walking by can see my sign, but we're on the second floor of our building, which is good because I just feel like with a female owned business in a busy city, everybody felt a little more safer not being.
On the main level.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
A little bit.
no,
Yeah.
I totally get
Especially
it.
Vancouver's changed a bit. So yeah, so it feels, and we're in a medical building, so it feels a little bit safer being up one floor. Just people have to come in and come find us. Yeah.
That
We don't do
is
walk-ins. So we're appointment
that,
only.
which is so great, right? But I
Yeah.
bet you've probably noticed an increase in traffic that
Yeah.
sign has been there though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. People are noticing it, which is really nice. So, and we
Yeah.
don't have to pay for having something on the floor level, but we still get the benefit of signage on the floor level, which is
Yeah.
good.
That's a
Yeah.
win-win. You are in a
Yeah.
good building.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So, what were you finding? Like when you started out on your own and then you've grown the team, did you find that you were getting clients that weren't there for hygiene? So they're calling you asking for whitening, or were you finding that it was your hygiene clients that were asking for whitening?
A little bit of both. A little bit of both. So, yeah, some hygiene clients are like, "Oh, so you do teeth whitening here, and then they decide they want to try it." And some people are calling specifically for whitening, usually for something that's coming up, like we
Mm.
do bridal specials and things like that. So, a lot of people already have a dentist or they have a dental hygienist and they just want to come for their whitening for whatever event is coming up that they're doing. Yeah.
And now you really emphasize dental hygiene and teeth whitening, which is so amazing. When did you kind of make that more push towards really pushing teeth whitening? Has it been within the last couple years or more recently?
Oh, the whole time we've been kind of doing both. So we've always had our signage as Pearl Boutique Dental Hygiene and Teeth Whitening. So we've always kind of had a 50-50 mix of what comes in, which is
That,
nice. Yeah.
and they work so well together for sure. And it's nice
Yeah.
that you're able to complement both. And I can imagine those clients that are coming to see you that find you for whitening are then probably turning into also your hygiene clients, right?
Yes. Yes. Some of them do if they don't already have providers for sure. Yeah. And it's nice. We offer package deals so they can get their teeth whitening with their cleanings just because we find that that kind of works the best. Right. So
Oh,
people
for
like,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
talk to us about some things that you do for your brides. And do you offer them a discount? Do you offer them maybe something to go home with at a no charge to them, but you build it into your fees? Like, what do you do for the brides?
We usually do 15% off their in-office teeth whitening. Yeah, for the bride and groom. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So for both parties.
And when do you prefer to see the brides and grooms? Do you do it like a couple weeks before the big day? Do you kind of have like a set that you go by?
Yeah, we usually recommend ideally 1 to 2 weeks prior to their wedding date, just so make sure that they don't have any sensitivity afterwards, and also so that they can eat normal food by the time they're getting married. Yeah.
Right? They can enjoy that red wine or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
exactly. We don't want to do it like 2 days before. Yeah.
And then they also get that full absorption, right? We still get that full breakdown over that time. So, yes, that's such a great example of how to do that properly, not the day before.
No, no, exactly. This is not usually, we don't do that.
No.
Probably not the best idea.
So, kind of chatting about how unrealistic expectations come about when it comes to whitening. For example, I'm sure there are probably lots of brides or grooms or just teeth whitening in general who, if they have a big event, they think, okay, I need to come in the day before because then that's going to be the brightest smile. But then another unrealistic expectation is usually results as well, right? I went through your Instagram, which we're going to talk about because your branding is so amazing. I hope the listeners go and check it out. But a great example of you showing your before and after photos, those are real before and after photos. You're not dehydrating. They look so great. Like
Yeah.
from a trained eye, you can tell that there's a ton of stain lift and you've done it the most safe and effective way possible. We were just chatting about how the team does use a hydrogen and a carbamide gericide, which is great. But unfortunately, to a lot of consumers, they might see some of your before and after photos because we struggle with this sometimes too with some of ours is they are expecting that gleaming white, that dehydrated false chiclet veneer color for that they're seeing through other socials. So how do you approach it, clients that either contact you and say, well, are my results guaranteed? Am I going to be Hollywood bright? Like, how do you go about explaining safe whitening?
So I tell them the way that teeth whitening works is it's not so much teeth whitening, it's teeth lightening.
Love
And
it.
I tell them that everybody's teeth start at a certain shade and finish at a certain shade. And you're going to go anywhere from 2 to 8 shades lighter than your starting shade. So if someone starts really light, they're going to be one of those people that finish really light, right? They have
Yes.
naturally lighter teeth. And I tell them that the gel doesn't actually dye your teeth. It's not like dyeing your hair blonde.
True.
So it really just attaches to the stain molecules and pulls it out, bringing you to your natural enamel color.
Yes.
So that's usually how I explain it. So I always tell them they're not going to get something that looks fake. It's going to look like their teeth, just lighter. Yeah.
That's a great simplified breakdown because that is another hard thing when you're a provider for whitening is of course you could go into all the scientifics of, the dentin
Yeah.
tubules and all these things and
Yeah.
your client
Yeah.
would be like, what are you talking about? So
Yeah, exactly.
it's about breaking it down into normal lingo that makes sense to them. And that is so, so important. And I think, especially as teeth whitening continues to get more and more popular, it is so incredible when you do have providers like yourself and your team that aren't just giving away to the social media craze of just showing those fake dehydrated results. So kudos to you guys because your results look great, but I can only imagine you probably do get some clients who are like, well, I was wanting that veneer look
Yeah.
that dehydration can give you, but it's going to fall back. So that is so great. Now, another thing that I've noticed with your business, and I'm sure you probably have a fun story to tell us here, is the team's open Monday through Friday, ranging from 10 to 7 p.m., and also 2 Saturdays a month. So as usually as you start out as an entrepreneur with your own business, you think, I'm going to leave that 9 to 5, I'm going to make my own hours, and I'm going to get to work whenever I want. But tell us about what the journey's been like figuring out the best times for a service-based business.
Well, when I started, I just worked all the time. And then I quickly realized that wasn't a good idea, though. I was lucky enough to be in a building with some other entrepreneurs that had been doing it a little bit longer than me, some RMTs and estheticians and stuff that had their own small businesses. And they said, pick your hours and stick to them. And
Like, don't flex for the client. Be like, these are my hours.
yeah. And they said, and just stick to it because then you're going to have really high expectations and you're never going to have your own life. And if people really, it also gives your business a bit more like value, because they can't go and see their dentist whenever they want. So
True.
why should they be able to go and see their hygienist whenever they want? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of tried to make it so there was some morning appointments and some evening appointments and no days were longer than your regular 8-hour day. I did work every Saturday for a long time. And so now we only work every second Saturday just because it's hard to find Saturday hygienists.
I bet.
And I don't work Saturdays anymore because I've got
You've done your time.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've done my time. I'm over the Saturdays. So yeah, we just we picked our hours and then we just stuck to them and we tried to make it so that some days we get people that it works for in the morning, some days we get people that works for in the evening. So there's a good range. And it also just depends on the hygienist. So I'm pretty flexible with the hygienists and kind of ask them what hours work best for them. And then we stick to those. So
That's great. So it's really flexing in like what's available for your team, but then at the same time, staying into your set template. Like we got to put out these hours, but then the team kind of folds in who does them. So do you find that those evening appointments, like that 5 to 7 range and those 2 Saturdays a month, do they get booked up probably the quickest?
Fastest, always. The first. Yeah. If anybody's looking for an evening or a Saturday, we're going weeks in advance usually. Yeah.
And that's something that I feel like can be a hard pill to swallow when you first start your own business because you think kind of like, oh, I can work 12 to 3 and we'll be solid. But you really do have to work at your client's availability. And you got to think when most clients are off work.
Yeah. And you got to find that happy medium.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing that really helps when clients can find a perfect time for their schedule is having a great website and branding. So I've already mentioned it before, but your branding and your website looks so amazing. It's so clean. And I always find it's really, really hard to make your website reflect equally to your space. And it looks like your website does that perfectly. Like it just blends so well. It's your environment virtually and actually in person. So tell us, are you tech savvy? Have you gotten help on this? How have you gotten your branding so on point?
I am not tech savvy. and, and I am not artistic. So it wasn't me that did that. It was working with a graphic designer and a web designer. Yeah. And telling them what I pictured, what I wanted. So, and then them creating it from what my explanation was basically that I wanted just a clean, kind of like refreshing, light, not intimidating, neutral kind of feel.
And I feel like they nailed that.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it looks like. It looks so good. So when did you implement this?
Right away.
Really? Good for
Yeah.
you. So it's
Yeah.
been kind of going with you the whole way through.
Yeah. So for me, my biggest goal was to because I knew my long-term goal was doing part-time in the clinic and part-time teaching. So I wanted to build my brand more
Mm.
than myself, kind of. I still have to be in the social media a lot and stuff because for a long time I was the only one there. So I wanted people to recognize the brand more than me.
Not you.
Yeah.
Yes, that is incredible and so insightful for any provider listening. Is that super important to think about? Like, think about you in 5, 10 years. Like, do you always want to be the sole provider or do you
Yeah.
want to bring on a team? Because it's right. If you built the brand around you, you're going to have a hard time when you start to step away and the client's being like, well, I only want to see Emma. And
Yeah.
it's going to be, you're going to lose the retention on some of those clients, right? So if you're building the brand, as a brand, as a like your own clinic, then it's going to be a lot easier to flow in team members than you being the face of the brand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what else have you really found has worked? Do you still keep like the web designer, etc., on rotation or like in your back pocket? Because I see you're also doing really well at blog posts, which is great for traction for like SEO, etc., all that fun tech stuff. Do you find that you are still on top of that, or have you really found it's been helpful to outsource that?
So I kind of have gone back and forth with that a little bit. I outsourced it a little bit with my website developer, and then I go back and do it myself for a while. Right now, it's like myself and my receptionist do it together. So,
Amazing.
yeah, so I get the topics and kind of do like Nicole's notes for her on what we're going to do. And she writes it and I proofread it. And so we do it kind of together at the moment. Yeah, which is nice.
And do you ever get feedback from whenever you do touch base with your team or notice like how you're ranking on Google, etc.? Do you actually see some traction with these blog posts?
Yeah, I think so. I think, yeah, for keywords and stuff, I
Yeah.
think it's important to keep up with. Yeah, I don't know how many people actually go through and read the whole blog, but it does help to bring up your website under keywords and stuff, your keywords that you want to use. We try and do a couple a month.
Yeah, that's so incredible. And it really shows that you're so forward thinking and on top of these things, which is only going to set your business up for continued success. Like it's a great show to providers listening that you have to get in front of your clients in multiple different ways through online. And then, for example, your signage outside. What are some other ways that your team stays out and about for advertising to get in front of your ideal clients?
I've done a lot of, well, in the beginning, I did a lot of like wedding shows and
Oh,
things like
yes.
that. Yeah, yeah. So I did some local stuff. And I also sometimes partner up with other small businesses in the city that are doing
Amazing.
services. And we'll offer like specials and giveaways. And I do like referrals with other businesses. So some of my friends' businesses or people that I know in the city that have like aesthetic businesses and stuff will do like
Smart.
10% off for her customers and that kind of thing. So we do that all the hygienists at the office have their own cards. And so if they're going to any social events or anything, they can bring them if they want to try and chat to people about what they do. We do a lot of social media. We
Amazing.
do a lot of we do a lot of posting and giveaways and advertisements on social media. Google reviews have been really helpful for us. That's been a big one. Yeah, so local, like our where we are in Vancouver has some like local events and stuff. If we can, we try and make it to those. So, yeah.
So it really does show you. I mean, you've been at this for around the 10-year mark, and it still is always active of making sure your community knows that you're there. It's not just a one-time thing, right?
It's continual. You're having to constantly kind of be fresh and keep going. And yeah.
Yeah. And it's so insightful to hear all of these tips and tricks. I really hope all of our listeners do check out your page. And if they are in Vancouver or know anybody in Vancouver, they definitely go your team's way, because I feel like it would be amazing to have you in our city. You're not in Ontario, but if you were, I definitely would be a client 100%.
Oh, thanks.
So, Emma, tell us where the followers can jump in and follow your journey, book appointments, etc. Where's the best place to follow along?
So our Instagram is at Pearl White Boutique, and our website is www.teethwhiteningbypearl.com. So those are the two best places. And then through our website, we have our online booking, and we
Handy.
also have a link to be able to email us. So yeah, that was another thing that's great for people building businesses, is to have online booking. It's super helpful.
Right? I know I'm a millennial, and if I have to call to book an appointment, I'm not booking that appointment.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's been, and especially before a receptionist, it was hugely helpful. So,
Oh, I can imagine, because I mean, how else would you book it? Like in between your calls, you'd have to be, I can imagine that would have been crazy if you didn't
yeah,
have that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Very helpful.
so helpful. So, Emma, last question we always ask is,
Yeah.
what is a recommendation or an insight that you would tell any fellow provider listening on if they want to get started with their business, or they're in the middle of their business and they're struggling? What's an insight that you wish you knew when you got started?
One thing that I don't know that I wish I knew it, but I hope everybody takes this into account when they first open, is to start small, especially as a hygienist. If you're trying to open a clinic, you're not going to bill what a dentist does. So don't
Mm,
try and open an equivalent clinic. Start small, start affordable. Don't make your costs too high right in the beginning. If you can get used equipment, get used equipment. You can still make it aesthetically pleasing, and yeah, that kind of
yes.
stuff.
That's
I
a
think it's
great tip. Yes, especially because you also have so much to learn yourself too. And you have to make sure that you can receive and actually attain if you did start at a bigger scale, which is only a set for a dumpster fire if you're kind of starting everything out at once, right? Starting small, getting used to your practice, your technique, your flow. That is a great tip. And I hope the listeners listen to you on that, because I know it's hard, especially with TikTok, etc. You see all these grandiose businesses and you're like, I want that,
yeah,
but you haven't seen the behind the scenes on how that business got there, right?
exactly. They don't know, you don't know where they started. Got to start
Exactly.
somewhere. So
Right. So you just need to get started. It doesn't have to be pretty, but
yeah,
you just need to start. So great tip. Well, thank you so much, Emma. This was so fun. And listeners, thank you for listening to another episode of Whitening Wednesday. We will catch you again next week.